welcome to Better Than Yesterday. As always, I'm joined here by my very good friend Daniel Hammond, and what we're here to speak to you guys about today is the difference between being goal-driven and putting systems in place. And this is a topic that we just want to dive into and really just sort of compare the pros and cons of putting in goals in place and rather than having a system that you use to achieve your goals. So that's what we're going to be speaking about today, man. But first of all, this is the first video that we are doing of 2023, and it's an exciting year to come, man. But how have you been doing in these first 10 days?
Yeah, so I've been doing well, been back in Namibia, and I must say it's been quite hot down here, waiting for the rain to come. Otherwise, I've just, yeah, been trying to get back into my normal routine. And as you know, it's new, we all have a new year and we're thinking about New Year's resolutions, and that's when goals come to play. So I was actually able to, or I just thought about a topic that we can have instead of every year going back to being goal orientated and having all these things that we want to achieve. Maybe this year we can focus on getting a system into place as well, which can just help us to make it a lifestyle and not have to restart every year and start from scratch. And how have you been doing, Michael?
Now I've been doing fantastic, bro. Like you say, also hit the year running, man. I mean, it's been an interesting like holiday for me because it's the first time I've been like working throughout the December period, and yeah, I've just sort of almost been continuing in the same vein. It's almost just like the new year came and it was like just another Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like just things just carried on.
I
You know
get
what I mean?
you.
But it's been cool, man. It's
Yeah.
been cool. I've been enjoying the year so far, and yeah, I do have definitely like a lot of things I want to achieve this year. And I think this is an awesome topic to dive into because, like you say, this is the time of year where everyone is setting goals, you know. And I think, you know, for a lot of people that first get into self-improvement, there's this big focus on setting goals, you know. So maybe if you're at the start of that journey, that's something that you're hearing a lot about. It's like why
Yeah.
you should set goals and you know how you should be doing that. And I think for people that have rather spent a few years in self-improvement and have started to, you know, have already gotten into the habit of having goals and not just, you know, sitting still and not being productive, it comes to a point where you start to want to develop productivity into a lifestyle rather than just like these one-off
Yeah.
things that you're doing over and over again. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's I think why putting systems into place is important, man. So what really gave you like the
Exactly.
idea for this video, man?
Yeah, so personally, it's been something that I've been thinking about quite a lot lately, just because every time where I've reached a goal, it becomes a place, or I get to a place where I become complacent or I fall back into an old habit, and this is just because I was focused so much on the goal that I forgot about the journey,
Sure.
and you don't really take to mind all the lessons that you've learned throughout the process of reaching that goal. And yeah, you should. That's why I thought of getting into a more systematic approach where you tend to focus more on the journey than rather than the destination, because even with the system you'll be doing things every day, and it becomes these small little things that you do and these daily small wins that you fight to be able
Mm,
to achieve something bigger.
so good, man.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So to give an example, I think of you know, the difference between the two. I think for me, this is an example that rings true. Is like, you know, for the longest time, I wanted to be someone who was in the gym, and that was sort of a goal of
Mhm.
mine. That I had. You know, the goal was just to look buff, to be in shape, to have a six pack, to like have big arms, all these things. That was kind of the goal. Like I had an image of how I wanted to look, and that was the goal. But for a long time, I really didn't have a system in place on how to get there. And
Yeah.
I think last year was the first time when I did implement a system. And yeah, what a system can look like, you know, is just that it's not like a and what makes systems good, you know, is that it is adaptable. So before I had this, you know, that goal, and I thought I had to, but I didn't really have like a means to get to it. I just knew that was what I wanted, you know. But yeah, like I said, last year was when I actually put the system into place. And what I started to do was just work out, like I just started to take action, you know. And I think what that was also cool about having a system is that it's, you know, it incentivizes you towards action. So Yeah, I just started to
Yeah.
work out every day before I had classes. So obviously, I had university during my second year of university, and classes would usually start sometimes at 8 o'clock, sometimes at 10 o'clock. So yeah, I would just hit a session every day during the week, and that would be either before classes started or sometimes after classes started. But that was like a set system that I put in place, and it was easy to do because I actually have a nice home gym set up here in my house. So as soon as I was done with class, before I even got started on like the homework that I had, I would just hit a gym session, and because I had time to do that, and it just allowed me to see so much more results and actually started to achieve some of those results that I was looking for the longest time with the goal that I had in place. But putting that system in was so much more productive and so
Mm.
much more. Um, it just actually led to so much more results because there wasn't even like a set goal to that. It was just like, okay, I'm going to work out every day after this, after my classes or before my classes, and
Yeah.
that's when I actually started to achieve those things. So it's the same with other things. With making money. Yeah, man. But what's been an example of how you've sort of implemented that in your life, man?
Yeah, so with the system and the goal, what I've realized is that, like you said, with a goal, you kind of have this thing that you want to do, but a lot of the times you'll end up thinking quite a bit on how to sort of get to that place and how to start taking action.
Very
And
true.
that's where when you get a system in place, you kind of have a guideline on how to go in that direction and what to do. So an example with me would probably be the journey of my pageant, like when I had that. So I did have a goal of just trying to have fun and enjoying the pageant and growing and personally developing myself. But the system there was to go out and do charity events, go out and do photo shoots, meet up with people, and yeah, just like focus on practicing those skills. Like I had to be good socially, so I had to focus on being able to have good conversations and work on those communication skills, which I'm still working on to this day. But like with the
Amen.
system, I was able to see these small different things I wanted to do to be able to achieve that personal growth and in the end like get the result that I got out of the pageant.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's super awesome. And yeah, I saw a lot of growth from you in that pageant, and it seemed like you did really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And you ended up winning it, bro. So not only did you enjoy yourself, but you like it were successful in it. So it seems like it really worked out for you, man.
Yeah. So that's definitely where goals and systems they have their different benefits. And then just why it's important to have the system is because when you're just goal orientated, it tends to have a lot of cons. And this is the first one that I can name is inflexibility. With a
Sure.
goal, you are looking for a fixed outcome when the world that is so complicated and complex is changing all the time.
Yeah.
And I think when you get that system in place, it allows you to get more flexibility and to be able to change up that goal a bit and not just be so focused on that result that you want to get, but be focused on what comes with achieving that certain thing that you want to achieve. A second con about being goal orientated is having it puts you in a failure state until you're able to achieve that goal. So once you say that let's say I want to be able to do 10 shoulder taps, or like let's say 20 shoulder taps, but you're only able to do 10 now. Until you reach those 20 shoulder taps, you're constantly feeling like you have to do better, and
Sure.
that does drain on you mentally.
Sure. Whereas like an example of
Yeah.
having a system for that would just be instead of setting the goal at 20, you just say, I'm gonna try and do one extra shoulder tap each day. And then yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna achieve the same success, but just in a better way, man. Yeah, so I think
Yes.
something that's cool to point out with this is that like, obviously having goals is very good. And like I said, I think for someone who's at the perhaps the start of their journey, with self-improvement, I think setting goals is something that's important because it might not have been something that you were doing before. Maybe you were just going with the flow
Hmm.
and you just weren't really taking life by the horns. So, setting goals is a good thing, but I think what's really cool is like, once you've started to get into the habit of setting those goals, you can actually rather get into a place where you develop systems. And yeah, it's something that, you
Yes.
can implement, maybe a few months or even a few years into your journey. And that's when you really,
Mhm.
yeah, there's what's cool about this journey of self-improvement is it's not just like it's very complex and there's so many aspects to it, and that's why I'm so passionate about it is just the fact that I'm still
Exactly.
learning new things all the time. I mean, both you and I are still very young, man, and we're still early on this journey, but we're able to,
Yeah.
these are something, I think this is something that we actually learned very much last year is yeah, just
Hmm.
rather than setting goals is putting those systems in place, and that's what's allowed us to be so productive as a lifestyle, and that's the kind of
Yeah.
vein of form I want to continue in this year in 2023 is just being productive as a lifestyle, that my everyday routine is just filled with things that are pushing me forward. And yeah, one
Yeah.
quick thing I want to touch on is and something that I implement in my life is that I sort of divide my day and almost my life, you could say, up into like these avenues of interest. That's kind of what I refer to them
Yeah.
as. And it's just like, so for myself, that would be, finishing my studies. I'm currently studying a degree, in IT. So one of those lanes of interest is finishing my studies. Another one is making money. However that be, right now I'm doing waitering part time, so that would be that. Another lane of interest is this channel, Better Than Yesterday, and just pushing that forward, continue to build this amazing community, and this amazing platform that we have going at the moment. So that's what another lane of interest. Another lane of interest is hitting the gym. Another one is
Mm.
working on my relationships in my life. Just keeping all of those going. So yeah, man, these are all things that I'm trying to push forward in my life. And
Yeah.
I would say those are probably like the main five. I've actually got them up on my wall, but from memory, that's kind of what it is, man. So yeah, what's cool is before you could have goals for each of these individual things. Like the one goal could be to make 10,000 rand by the end of the year, or 100,000 rand, and another goal could be to achieve 100% in all of my subjects. But like you said, it would almost be if I wasn't achieving those things, I would be in a complete like failure state the whole time. Whereas rather
Yeah.
how I
Definitely.
how I actually have been doing it for the last year and how I'm going to continue to do it in this coming year is to just have those big focuses and like areas of focus, and
Mhm.
just continually push forward in each one. As long as I'm pushing forward every single day in each of those, or at least every single week in each of those areas, I'm happy. It's not like this specific
Yeah.
thing that I have to achieve, but if I'm continually pushing forward in all of those areas, that's when I feel like I'm doing my best.
Yeah. That's definitely very good. And what I'd want to say as well is that it's not that you want to cut out goals totally. That's
Yeah.
not what we're trying to say.
No.
It's more of having a goal, but also having that system to support it.
Sure.
Because what happens is that the goal is the destination or the direction that you want to go towards, and the
Mm,
system is the guide that leads you in that direction. So the system is what helps you with that progress. And what I've also realized is that with a goal, like you say, let's say getting back to that example with the shoulder taps, then maybe once you've achieved that 20 shoulder taps, you like, what happens now? Do I
sure.
increase it? Where do I go? Do I go back to doing 10 like I've done before? Because I've been able to achieve it now. So then you become kind of content and complacent, and you start to relax again until you've gotten a new goal. So it's kind of
Sure.
like you're only driven when you have that goals, but once you have a system, it's you can continue going in that same thing. So even
Sure.
if you get to 20 shoulder taps, you can just start doing more and more. So that's even the beautiful thing about being on like self-improvement and this journey. It's a never ending process. It's just
Amen.
gonna keep continuing and it doesn't stop. So to conclude, or like the last few points that I
Mm,
want to say about a system is that it it allows you to always have like be open to opportunities because you're not so focused on this goal that whenever an opportunity comes out, you put it off because you're just working towards a specific goal. But
sure.
because you have the system, you can always take on the next opportunity that comes your way. And that's also where the flexibility comes in again.
It's
And
good.
it helps you to focus on the journey and enjoy the journey. It leads you to being happy in yourself, in just taking these small daily actions, than rather looking for happiness at the end of that journey.
I love it, man. I love it. Yeah, I think this has been productive thing on its own just to talk about, man. So
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. That's also one of the things we just want to do is just fill everyone with excitement and encouragement for the year, and hopefully
yeah,
you can. We've all got individual goals. For Daniel and I's,
mm,
even Daniel and I's goals are different to each other's, and everyone that's watching this video is
yeah,
going to have their own things they want to achieve. In this year, but we just hope that yeah, you'll just be able to achieve those things in the best way possible. And I think, yeah, to
yeah,
conclude, definitely, I think we would recommend, like Daniel said, having goals in place and having definitely, a direction for your life and things that you want to achieve, but rather implementing systems for how you're going to actually achieve those things. And yeah, by the end of the year,
yeah,
I'm sure we'll all be so much further along, and we'll be closer to where we want to be, man. But yeah, big things
definitely,
coming
man.
up for this channel, bro. Very excited to
Yeah,
announce that I'm going to be traveling up there to Namibia in less than 2 weeks, man. So excited for that,
yeah,
bro. It's gonna be
less than
amazing
two
just to
weeks.
travel that country, make some amazing content there, and yeah, just have a blast.
Yeah, definitely can't wait to have you down. There's 12 days left for your trip down, and yeah, I hope you enjoy Namibia as well. And yeah, for the listeners, I just want to say that hopefully today's video could help you just see your goals and this year with a new perspective rather than just looking at it the same way as
Mm,
you've always done. Yeah, it's always good to but like keep being interested in finding new ways to look at things and not just be fixed on the same ways. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for always giving a nice conversation, Michael. And yeah,
always, man.
I just want to say much love from Better Than Yesterday. Be sure to like and subscribe. Cheers.